From game reviews to game tips to comparisons, all here on Good Game Well Played. I'm your host Aurora with Joey to my side. Joey, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing fine. So today, I guess we're just gonna be going over the rise and success of the popular video game Fortnite. So Fortnite originally released on July 21st, 2017, but it only took off around a couple months later, September in the same year. 350 million copies have been sold today, and there are over 650 million accounts. Activity is crazy.
Yeah, I know. It is just fascinating.
I know. I mean, it's been really long since that came out.
I know.
Can you believe that 2017 was, 8 years ago now?
Oh my god.
I know.
It's freaking crazy.
But anyway, so yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been playing it. So, I mean, I've been playing it myself a lot lately, but I have some charts with me. Looking at the charts here, it appears that, which kind of makes sense, but China is the number one player of the game. I would say about 85% of people that play video games in China have this game.
Yeah, and I will say there is something weird about it because I've looked into it before, and it seems that China usually only gets 3 hours of, like, screen time, meaning, like, it's videos, video games, just stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it is a little weird why exactly it's moreover, like, the highest player base in the whole game. So
I'm assuming that's due to population. What Vietnam, I would say, is about second.
yeah.
Vietnam, I don't think, has that many players. Coming third and fourth are India and Indonesia, which do make sense, as India and Indonesia have some of the highest populations.
Yeah.
But Vietnam scoring second is really, really, really weird.
Yeah.
Worldwide, about 68% of gamers have Fortnite or have played it. So, United States only has about 45% of the population plays it, which is
Honestly, kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Because, you got the whole fact of, like, they're probably, the ones most talking about, Fortnite.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that they're only, 45%.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think that America should be way farther up there. I mean, I'm not saying it should be number one, but a lot of people in America do play Fortnite, so I would expect it to be more. Another chart, the console most used to play Fortnite is, which kind of makes sense, but PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I think it does make sense, mainly probably due to the fact of popularity with the console.
For sure. But, second is Xbox One, with about 35% of players that have an Xbox One or Xbox in general play Fortnite.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4 is about 42%.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But computer, it's oddly low. It's only about 12% or so.
I think that's generally just because of the fact that computers are usually more expensive than your average console. So, it makes sense that there's a lesser majority in terms of that.
That makes sense. And I think it's also because a majority of people that have a low-running computer most likely either A, don't have the storage to get Fortnite, as it is probably about 20 or 30 gigabytes now.
Yeah.
With all the updates and all the new features, but B, also because even if they could install it, would it run that well? I don't think it would.
Probably not. Yeah.
But anyway, if we look at the annual grossing for the revenue, 2018, the first year or so that it was released, was one of its best years, grossing in about $5.5 to $6 billion US dollars. But oddly enough, 2019 was a pretty bad year for it, grossing only about 4.5 billion.
It does seem a little weird because I would have thought it would have been much higher up because I felt like, I don't know, 2019 was a decent year for, the Fortnite video game. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty unsure as to why it's like the lowest.
hmm Um, but yeah, ever since then, it's been skyrocketing. Ever since 2020 and upwards, 2020 produced about $5 billion for the game. And by 2026, it is estimated to have just grossed over $6 billion for that year.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. I mean, but anyway, moving on. I would like to cover some of the game modes that are to the disposal of a Fortnite player. I think easily the most popular and oldest one, obviously, is the classic Battle Royale.
Yeah.
The way it works, like most of the game modes, if not all, you spawn in and you are with about 100 people, and the last person standing would win. I always thought that concept was a bit difficult to grasp, especially because, you're in 100 players, it's like 100 to 1 ratio for chances to win. And then what if somebody's way, way, way better than the competition?
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, there's also... I don't like how the Battle Royale has the build set up.
Yeah, I will definitely agree on that. I do think the build feature is definitely unbalanced, especially because of, just the utter amount of, kids who have been practicing for, way too long for, one singular feature. And it's I understand you want to, get better at the game, but there's a certain point where it just kind of ruins it for everyone else, because it's just, people simply, want to have fun playing the game.
For sure. And I think it's kind of stupid because for me, the way I look at it, the build menu is somewhat of just a settings menu as a game.
Yeah.
And it's like you shoot at one person and they build the entire Eiffel Tower.
I know.
They go insane.
Yeah.
But after a massive update, Fortnite also released Zero Build, which is the exact same as regular Fortnite, just as the name suggests, without building.
Yeah.
I love playing this game mode because I actually have a fighting chance to win. And then, yeah, so Zero Build is amazing. I mean, Fortnite's popularity blew up because there's tons of new players that quit because they couldn't build correctly. And now because they have a game mode that you don't need to build, they've all come back. And I think that's a good reason why Fortnite's income skyrocketed, increased more and more and more each year. So
I just want to expand upon that whole thing. I do think, Zero Build was an absolutely necessary game mode
for
for
sure.
the game.
For sure.
Because, here's the issue. A lot of the players were focusing way too much on practicing with building rather than focusing on actually defending themselves and attacking back. So
Yeah. And I mean, at most, usually my friends will kind of force me into playing build mode. There's not as many players that will build sky high the second you shoot at them, but there are a few of them, and most of the players will just either, not shoot at all. I mean, not build at all, or just build some walls, box themselves in a roof, whatnot. That's really easy to just spin around and look up.
Yep.
So, but it will also be really easy to destroy. So I see why some people feel the need to build an Eiffel Tower the second they got shot at.
Yeah.
Um, Next, I think this one is the second oldest one. And there's definitely a lot of game modes that have this. It's a ranked mode. That basically means is you will play one game and the game will decide how good at the game you are and will rank you. And then you will get into a game with a bunch of similarly skilled players and just play the game. And you could these are both in regular battle royale and zero build, but we're also in some other ones that I will talk about next.
Yeah.
So I think the ranking system is a bit, I don't know the word, a bit weird, because when I play, I usually find myself playing with a bunch of new people who are just discovering, Fortnite and ranked. And so it places me really high. But then when I get into a game mode with a bunch of similarly ranked players, I'm just don't stand a fighting chance. I mean, maybe I'll kill one or two, but then it's like, I don't know. It's usually around like silver 2 or silver 3. So, but what do you think?
I've never really delved into the ranked game mode. I mean, obviously from what I've heard you have, because I generally don't care much for it, but I do think it's an alright game mode.
Yeah, for sure. Next on our list is there's a game mode called Reload, which is there's also ranked and unranked, and then there's zero build and build mode.
Yeah.
For Reload, and I think it's the same with the next one. However, Reload is a much smaller lobby rather than 100 players. Usually, the game modes have I would say about 30 players, and it's a much smaller map, so there's not as many places to go, but it just kind of seems empty, honestly. Even though the player decrease is matched with a map size decrease, it seems just still empty.
Yeah, I have delved into this game mode before, and I've generally just felt it's just kind of boring for the most part.
Yeah.
I think mainly because of the fact of how low the player count is or something like that. Because, whenever you're playing, just the classics or whatever, either Zero Build or Battle Royale, the main map, you actually feel tense because anybody can pull up on you, and it's just this one big map. But with Reload, it's just, there's, not much. It's just, it feels very short and, just, like you said, boring.
Yeah, it seems definitely boring, as there's not as many people to be able to fight. Finally, for our last, or maybe our last game mode, they recently added, I think in the newest update, they added an OG game mode, which brings players back to around season 1 or 2, where everything had just come out and everything was brand new. And I've never played it. My brother has. He says he loves it. Now, I played it when it first came out on, oddly enough, my grandmother's iPad. And it was difficult for me because everybody was talking about it. And everybody had, computers and, consoles and all that stuff to play it on.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any of that. So it was around when I was in second grade. So yeah, around 2017 and 2018 more, I think. But I don't really remember it that well. I remember I used to watch a streamer whose name I cannot remember to save my life. And I only checked into the streams about 2 or 3 times. but I remember I used to love watching them, and it was very fascinating to see other people play. But I think it's very interesting, the diversity.
Um, I personally like. I've never played the new game mode for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I haven't either.
Um, I have kind of played OG. I started back in like chapter 1, season 4, but like that was about it in technicality.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really experienced like the original game, but I have seen like videos of it, and I've just, ugh. And I'm talking
Yeah,
about like old content, like
for
stuff
sure.
actually old content, because like there's this weird thing where people are obsessed with nostalgia,
Oh
and
yeah, oh yeah.
it's very just annoying sometimes because there's a certain point where like yeah, nostalgia can bring a lot of light to some old topics for like other games or something like that.
Yeah.
But like with Fortnite, that was just an era where it was not in its best state because
Yeah.
like it had like I mean I liked the art direction in terms of like its kind of colors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like besides all of that, not that good. Cause like I remember people were talking about like, oh, this better be exactly like the original Fortnite OG back in 2017. And I'm just like,
It's not gonna be like that.
no.
It's not gonna be the old ways when it used to be. Um, I mean, if the best thing you can get, the closest you can get to that is either the OG game mode or just watching somebody play it. But then it's no fun because you don't actually get to play it
Yeah.
unless you have like a time machine or something.
I, because like something specific I heard about people talking about was the fact of like, oh, sprint, mantling, and stuff like that. They were just like, oh, this better not be in the, just,
In the main
new,
game.
in the new version. But then it was, and they just kept complaining. And I feel like people need to realize, like, old gameplay does not necessarily mean good gameplay.
Yeah, yeah, for
Because,
sure.
dear Lord, every game I saw in 2017 looked so slow.
Yeah, it was definitely a time. Probably not one of the best for Fortnite, but I mean, when did you start playing again? I mean, I know you said you started playing originally around, chapter 1, season 3, but when did you like start coming back to it?
I started coming back to it like just recently, but it was for like unlocking Godzilla since he was just released.
Yeah.
So I was focused on that, but I do think I'm thinking about like maybe finishing the rest of the battle pass because I'm at least like level 38.
Yeah,
Or
I'm not
whatever.
that high of level because I don't play as much anymore, but I mean, yeah, but it's come a long way since then. I think I started playing around, or I came back to it at least, um, during the Mega City. I don't remember what chapter it was. I think it was like chapter 5, season 6 is my best educated guess. But don't, don't take my word for it. That's probably not what it is. I think it's somewhere around chapter 5. I don't know the season.
I've got no clue. I don't
Yeah.
remember many of the seasons.
Yeah, I remember my friend telling me that his favorite place to land out of any of the chapters and seasons was the Mega City. And well, it was nice. It was definitely a lot like the OG Tilted Towers where all the pros would hang out there and you couldn't even touch down without being shot out of the sky.
Yep.
Um another chapter that was really good was the I don't remember what it was called. I think it was the one. I think it was the last one. The previous one. It had, the Avengers had. I don't want to say sponsored it, but got like cameos inside of it. And they got a bunch of weapons.
Yeah, I think I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah. I remember, right before the season ended, I started to get used to this one location and where all the Avengers chests would spawn if they spawned. It was called Nitrodome, and there was obviously the Avengers chests, and they would always have a random Avengers item, and it was usually from the shows like Captain America's shield, or it was also some, more rare stuff like. I don't know. What was that one? It was I can't remember it.
I think it was War Machine's
War
items.
Machine's hoverjet. Yes,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Thank you. But yeah, I think that Fortnite has overall come a long way. So, I don't know. So that's just our opinion. I think Fortnite's definitely come a long way since it first started, and definitely has a long way to go. I remember they had parkour, so we'll see where that goes. But with that, this is episode 1, season 1. Tomorrow or next episode, we will be hopefully talking about the ups and downs of Minecraft. So, with that being said, good game, well played.